All right, welcome back to SportsLine, everybody, right here on News Channel 5 Plus. As promised, we're going to talk some Titans football, and who better to talk Titans football than our good buddy from TitansOnline.com, Jimmy Wyatt, joins us now. Jimmy, first off, Happy New Year to you and your wonderful family.
Same to you, JB. I hope you're doing well. I hope your year started off well for you.
Oh, 2017 is rocking already, my brother. Great piece today on the website, TitansOnline.com, with Titans defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau. You had a nice sit-down interview with him. He confirmed to you that he will be back coaching next fall at the ripe young age of 80 years old. And he's a guy I've known for a long time from my days covering the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was there as their defensive coordinator. He's been here, going on his third year now. He's a remarkable man, isn't he?
He really is. I mean, I just kind of watched him from afar during those days in Pittsburgh when I knew you were with him, and know about a legend of a coach that he is, and I heard so many good things about him. But I've had the pleasure of being around him for the last several years. Once he joined the staff a couple of years ago, it's just remarkable to me. Not only just his passion for football, but just his passion for life and having such a youthful exuberance about him. You mentioned he'll be 80 years old on September the 9th. 79 right now. The guy's made 7 holes in one. He plays the guitar. He still plays golf when he can, likes to read, but more than anything else, he loves football and loves being around people, loves being around young people. It keeps him young. He said he's probably he can't remember the last time he's been on a treadmill. He says he doesn't. The only time he's been on a treadmill is when he has one of those stress tests when he goes to the doctor. But he stays active and he stays sharp. And I'm sure glad he's around. I think every year, the feeling is, if Dick LeBeau wants to coach, he's going, the job is his, and you never know when it's going to be time for him to hang it up. But right now, he's not thinking about that. And I know Mike Mularkey's glad to have him back. I know the players will be glad to have him back, and people who are around the team certainly glad to have him back. Yeah,
Jimmy, you mentioned the players, and I remember in Pittsburgh talking to guys like Joey Porter, who I had a great relationship with, guys like Brett Kiesel, and even James Harrison when he, wanted to talk and form a sentence. They all just sing his praises, and he's the ultimate player's coach. I mean, he's the type of coach that will obviously get on his players when he needs to, but he gives them a lot of love too. He's like a father to those guys, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he still reads, towards the night before Christmas, on Christmas Eve, to the team, and players just soak it up. I've had the privilege of hearing him in different settings speak. They had a women's club, women's football 101 for them, maybe his first year here, and all the women there, he entertained them by telling stories. He was their biggest draw there that night because they all are familiar with Dick LeBeau. He's so captivating by the way he speaks, and players do love him. I mean, you mentioned James Harrison. I saw it today. I just happened to be, online and saw where James Harrison had an interview somewhere and was talking about his days in Pittsburgh, and I think Dick LeBeau came up as part of some kind of a video montage, and I think when he briefly started talking about Dick LeBeau there, and they said he started tearing up. He got emotional talking about him. So He means a lot to the guys he's been with. They know how much it means to them. They want to perform for him. He's had a great impact on the players in Nashville, and I think not only is he a good man leading them who cares about them, but I think having some continuity and having the same system back and knowing what the expectation level is going to help this team moving forward.
Talking to our good friend Jimmy Wyatt from TitansOnline.com here on SportsLine. Jimmy, you're in the building. Is there a little bit more pep in the step when you kind of notice what goes on in and around the building? Coming off this 9-7 season, seems like the arrow's pointing up for this franchise and this football team. It's got to be a different feeling than in years past, right?
It's definitely different. It's different than last year. I mean, last year at this time, the finishing touches had just been put on a GM search and a head coaching search. Mike Mularkey was in the process of trying to put together a staff, scrambling to do that before the Senior Bowl started. You knew there was a lot of uncertainty moving forward with the roster, and to some extent there'll be some changes this off season. So a lot of new players brought in, both in the draft and free agency. So you know it's going to be, it's going to be a lot different, but the nucleus will be the same, and some of the core leaders will be there. I do think there's optimism. People are excited about the direction things are going. With that said, the way the season ended kind of lingers. I mean, you sense that in still today. A couple of weeks after the season ended, and I don't think that will really go away until the 2016 football season's over with, because Titans really put themselves in a position to go into the playoffs with some momentum, and then to have it end with an injury to the quarterback and Marcus Mariota, and with the loss to Jacksonville in the second last week of the season. I mean, that's still eats away at people.
Sure.
The building, and I don't know, it's going to take a while for that to go away. I think that'll be the motivation for a lot of people this offseason.
I was just going to say, I think that's a positive, actually, because when you have a taste of it and you're that close, you've got to take it one step further the following year. Never too early to talk draft, Jimmy. I know that we're still months away from the draft, but I look at the national championship game. Everybody's talking about Mike Williams as a potential target for the Titans at 5. The wide receiver from Clemson had a slow start in that first half, but really came on, made some big plays in that fourth quarter along with Deshaun Watson. It's hard to speculate where they're going to go or what they want to do. They may trade out of that pick, but which do you think would be more of a priority if you were in charge, secondary or wide receiver?
Well, I think both. I mean, which order they come off the board, though, I mean, really hinges on what happens in free agency, because I get asked a lot, which direction the Titans going,
right,
at 5 and 18, and really without knowing what they're going to do, what John Robinson's going to do, what Mike Mularkey desires, what happens to free agency. Without knowing that, it's hard to say, because let's say they go out and get a big-time receiver. Well, you don't have as much of a need at the top of the draft for a receiver there, and vice versa. Let's say they go out and land a cornerback in free agency, then maybe that takes the heat off. So we're kind of going to have to wait and see what transpires in March before we have a real good read on what happens in April. But when I look at the team, I see the biggest needs, and I talked to John Robinson earlier in the week for a story I did just about his thoughts on being armed with 2 first-round picks this year, as long as working on some other stories that will be on Titans Online the next week. He is keeping all his options open as far as what to do with those picks. I think when I ask him about what he considers to be the biggest needs, he doesn't even necessarily go there. I mean, he is pretty much looking at every scenario, both as far as trades go, as far as those picks go, as far as positions go, what he's going to do in draft and free agency. And he's a hard guy to read this time of year, but his wheels are spinning.
No question about it. Jimmy, Marcus Mariota, the injury happening so late in the year, and it was such a serious injury. I mean, this rehab's going to take a while. When can we expect to see Marcus Mariota get involved in the offseason program? Should Titans fans have any worry at all about Marcus Mariota coming back and being at or near 100%?
I don't think people should. I mean, people have to be patient with him. But the good thing is the Titans have some time now that it is pretty much a quiet period for a while. He can't do anything, probably from a rehab standpoint until the end of February. Unfortunately, he had an injury that was a fractured fibula, but also, I'm sure there's some other things that he's going to have to recover from, and that has kind of added to the longer timetable than, let's say, maybe a Derek Carr, who had a similar injury, but he's supposed to be back sooner. I mean, I think Marcus will have to spend the next, we'll have to spend January and February pretty much recovering. He'll spend March and April kind of rehabbing. The off-season program starts in April, but really the on-field stuff doesn't start until May. And the bulk of the off-season organized team activities and the mini camp, that won't happen till June. I think he'll be back for all of that, and I think he'll be ready to roll in July, and I think he'll do everything possible, everything he needs to do above and beyond to put himself in a position to be ready when they hit the ground for the start of mini camps and on-field stuff.
No question about it, man. That's highly important to have your quarterback up and healthy. I mean, we have this guy, Brian. We love him. He calls the show once in a while. He called before the beginning of the season, said, you know what, we're so close right now. We should trade Mariota for a more established quarterback. And I quickly laughed him off the show. He's been back on since. So, Brian, if you're listening, we love you. I mean, Jimmy, take a look at what we got going on this weekend with Championship Sunday. We've got 4 teams with 4 outstanding quarterbacks. You can't get to this point this late in the season without good quarterback play, and it's been proven.
Yeah, and he's also proven in his first couple of years that he's on the right track. I mean, look at his numbers over the first 2 seasons, and what he's done has been remarkable. I mean, he's done things that some of these quarterbacks that are competing over the weekend weren't even able to do from a numbers standpoint. He hasn't been able to get to the big game like those guys have, but he has been really good from the get-go, and he's just going to keep getting better. I mean, I think we saw him. We saw his rookie year where he had some growing pains, and he was hit way too much, sacked 38 times in 12 games. And we saw this year after the team got off to a slow start, he kind of hit his stride, at the second quarter of the season, and was really, really good the rest of the way. I think his decision making got better, his deep ball got better, his third down percentage got better. He's always been good in the red zone. He's smart with the football. He works hard in the classroom. He's a consummate pro and is not a me guy. He's got everything you're looking for in a big-time quarterback. And, John Robinson, Mike Mularkey did a good job in surrounding him with better talent this offseason for this year, and I think you'll continue to see them add pieces to the puzzle that will make him even better in 2017.
Jimmy, before we get you out of here, how about your predictions for Championship Sunday? Who will we see in Super Bowl 51?
Well, I think Atlanta's going to win the NFC. I mean, and the Packers are on a roll. I thought that I wasn't surprised all the Packers won in Dallas, although they barely won in Dallas. They just are a hot team right now, but the Falcons are hot too. And I know Green Bay's dealing with a couple of injuries at the receiver positions. It's not only Jordy Nelson, but I think they're going to have trouble stopping Atlanta in the Dome. I think the Falcons are really dangerous. So I think the Falcons win in the NFC, and it's hard to pick against New England at home. I mean, it's as hot as Pittsburgh is and as battle-tested as they are.
Yeah, but you can't kick field goals against Tom Brady. Okay, you can kick them against Alex Smith. You can't just kick field goals against Tom Brady. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I think that's going to I think New England will have enough to get past them. So I think I'm looking for a New England-Atlanta Super Bowl in Houston.
All right, and your winner would be?
I kind of feel like Atlanta's a hot team right now. I mean, I feel like offensively, what they've done, throughout the season. I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb and pick the Falcons to win the Super Bowl.
Jimmy, there's only one quarterback that can beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and that's my guy, Eli Manning. Jimmy, I appreciate you being on. Thanks so much for the knowledge, and I understand you've got a little bit of time off coming, so enjoy that, man. Kick your feet up, enjoy some time off, because I'll be bugging you before too long.
Well, I have to tell you, it's not time off. It's time away from here. 'Cause I'm getting ready to hit the road to go to Senior Bowl in Mobile.
Oh, okay.
To give people reason to be on Titans Online. I'm hitting the Senior Bowl in Mobile early part of next week, hitting the Pro Bowl in Orlando the latter part of next week, and then going to be in Houston for for the weekly of the Super Bowl. So I will be gone, but I won't be kicking my feet up. I promise. I'll be hitting the ground and working to put out some stories on Titans Online and on my Twitter account too. So, and then when I get back, maybe I'll be able to relax a little bit. But it's definitely getting ready to be a pretty busy stretch for me. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a fun time of year.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's a labor of love. And make sure, folks, you're following Jimmy online, TitansOnline.com, and on Twitter at @JWyattSports. Jimmy, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being on. Have a great night, my friend.
Very appreciate you having me on. Have a good one.
All right. The great Jim Wyatt dropping some Titans knowledge on us. And, wow, it sounds like he's going to be a busy boy the next couple of weeks. So we'll be keeping up with Jimmy, of course. All right, time for another break. We come back, we'll switch gears, talk some college basketball. What's going on with Vanderbilt and Tennessee? Both teams 2-4 right now in the SEC. Is it too late for the Vols and the Commodores? We'll explore next. Stay with us.